Oh, yeah. She, baby.
Jared, have you ever had these before?
It's censored. There it is.
Uh,
I've had platform. I don't know about that one. Can't tell what the.
called Hayes Jude. Hayes Jude.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've had that exact one.
Bought it only because of the name. My all-time favorite song.
Hey June is one of your all-time favorite songs.
Hey Jude from the Beatles. Yeah, man. Fucking love the Beatles. All right, I'm ready to go. Jared, are there any music stores that you're aware of, like in Ashland area?
No. You know how many times I've been to Ashland? Probably in the last 4 years of my life. Last 4 years, probably like twice.
I guess that's kind of true, right? I
Yeah.
never really thought about it, but
Yep. Everything should be ready to go. Hey, chat. Can you talk?
What's happening, baby? What's good? I'm
oh
ready. Are you ready?
yeah.
I'm hoping this voice sticks around so I can read some lore with it. I'm really excited about that. But we'll see how it goes. I like watching Jared there bopping to some tunes, leaning forward, can't see his eyes. I enjoy it very much. Yeah, there you go, Ryan. Boots and cats and boots and cats.
All right. We're good.
Cool.
My hair also looks really gray in that video.
So what those ring lights do? Like yours is probably like a white green light, ring light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mine has got like a pinkish hue to it.
Yeah.
Kind of dulls some of that stuff out. The
I've got the things that like clip over them, I think, maybe.
Yeah, you do. If we have the same one,
Yeah.
then yes. Yeah, you do, you should.
All right. I'm gonna start recording and play the
Ooh.
music whenever you guys are ready.
Yep, ready.
Good.
All right, starting recording now. Welcome to episode 40 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 22nd, and this is the ever-improving voice of not Ryan Fox. And I'm here with my fire team, Jared.
Man, 40 episodes. Crazy to think we're already here with the big 4-0. I think it's how many boss clears I've got done in this Grasp of Avarice and still not a god roll yet, but here I am.
And we also have the Chronicler himself, Chad Ocero.
I'm right there with Jared on the 40 episodes thing. The boss clears though, I got to work on that. I think that might be a Monday thing for me. But hope to get there. Hope to get a god roll eventually.
Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend requests. And there is not a TWAB this week. So we're still going to talk about everybody's favorite game, Destiny. So, Jared, time to let the dogs out.
All right, guys. So, we're kind of on our own this week, coming up with stuff to talk about, and nothing else better to talk about than what you actually did in the game. Grasp of Avarice farming is still pretty new. I mean, this is going on our third week now. But, I mean, it's still fun to get in there and try to get some fun stuff. And some of those very important master armor sets that has the extra mod slot for seasonal artifacts. So, you have anything to report back from there? I know I LFG'd probably for 3 hours straight of just the boss farm on a normal mode just for going for weapon rolls. Have a couple like decent rolls, but nothing that I'm like super happy with. Okay. All right then.
Sorry, my bad. I was waiting for Chad to go. I'll go though.
On you go.
So, Jared, whenever you posted that about asking if anybody wanted to farm, of course I wasn't available at that time, but you and I did get a couple runs in later that evening. What does each run take? Like 3 to 4 minutes, probably.
Yeah, probably an action. It's probably equal time of just switching out characters and loading back in of the actual like gameplay, getting to the boss town.
Yeah. So I didn't get anything spectacular. The armor rolls were nothing great. The weapon rolls were nothing great. But it is nice just to get a little more experience in that boss room. It's not near as bad as I thought it was. Like the first and second times we did it. So there's a little bit of a flow to that room, and it's nice to get a little practice with that.
Yeah, I didn't get any grinding in like they did. I was definitely working. But I did the solo flawless already, so I spent a lot of time in that room. And after messing around with the Jared strat, which I don't know where he got it from, I hope he made it up. Where you just get on top of the stairs, blast the 2 yellow bars to heck, and then move around the room and just start going. Start activating things, picking up the engrams and stuff. It definitely seems like a very, very fast boss room if you know the way the room works. But like I said, I haven't done any grinding, so I haven't gotten any really good chances at guns. I've only gotten one Ayaz Luna to drop total and one sword. So I I don't really have much to report on that. I've gotten a bunch of matadors, but
Really?
nothing super duper.
Yeah.
Most of my farming this past week was in the nightfall, catching the end of that the double drop nightfall, which was the Sepix Prime Devil's Lair.
Devil's Lair.
Yep, going through that, I got probably 10 golf balls, Ascendant shards stacked up. So I have 10 on the Warlock, 10 on the Titan, 5 on the Hunter, and 10 on me. So I'm almost back to that 40, so I can rest easy again. No great rolls. I kept getting shadow prices, which I have no desire for whatsoever. Hopefully everybody was able to pick up the rocket launcher from Zur over the weekend. He did have the clown cartridge royal entry there. That was nice. It would be nice for DPS. And that was really kind of my, other than doing our gambling corner run, which we'll discuss later. That was kind of my week of Destiny. I played I played quite a bit because we had that charity stream on excuse me, on Saturday. I'm not trying to be rude, but we had a great time. So
Awesome. Yeah. You all raised a lot of money for that charity stream and trying to get rid of cancer, which is always a very hard thing to battle against. And another thing that also happened this week was also the Vidmaster title was able to be completed. And I know you all got yours done with that last completion. And a couple of days ago or today, I forget when, I LFG'd a low man run. And that low man run of the master is actually really fun. And I kind of wish that's kind of the way it would actually play out. Like it actually was slightly challenging, but not enough to where you was like overwhelmed. And I was really surprised at how that felt running through that.
I thought it would have been nice if they would have made the master mode of that instead of it being 6-person. It was just a 3-person. Like you could still matchmake it,
Mm-hmm.
but I or maybe 4 people since it's matchmaking.
Yeah.
Or you could only take like 3 people if you bring your own fire team or something.
Yeah.
I wish they'd kind of experiment with that stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, the low man run was definitely a fun one. Ryan and I did that last week. I think was it Sunday or Monday? Sunday probably.
Yeah.
And we did it with 2 of my homies, who obviously they have very, very minimal GM experience. So I basically just looked at them, told them what weapons to equip, and said, "Go to town." And we did it, and it was fun. We did a little bit more cautious than normal because again, they don't have much experience with content that'll just absolutely murder you quickly. Um, but it is definitely a fun challenge. I think the 3 of us going in there would be wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'd be something that'd be definitely a fun challenge to take on for sure.
You know, if they scaled the rewards based on how many people you brought in, like it'd actually be worth doing. Like you got some extra
Yeah.
keys. Like if you go in
Yeah,
with
every
just 3,
every person that's missing, you get an extra key,
yeah,
like an extra legendary drop. That'd be awesome.
yep,
Or there's a total amount of experience for completing it, and
Oh, I
then
see it just gets
however many
distributed.
people complete it, distribute it equally between. Like that would, because it would have been much more fun instead of having to do 70 runs of that with 3 people to do 35 with us 3.
yeah,
I would have much prefer that.
yeah. Ended up taking close to 80 runs to finish out Zur to that rank 16. To get with all the cosmetics from him and everything, which probably was like 20 to 25 too long, in my opinion. But
Yeah. So I think right now I'm sitting somewhere between 50 and 60. And I'm like, I feel like I should be done with this.
yeah,
So,
but at least they do rotate the enemies out, and there's always like at least a ways to run through it faster with getting the blessing and having it unlimited heavy on the last
oh
two
yeah,
encounters.
it's been a wonderful catalyst for him.
Yep.
On my heavy exotics, I got Colony done, Galahorn, Deathbringer. Working on my Aegir Scepter at the. I know it's not heavy, but that's kind of the one I'm working on at the moment. But the first little encounter, the former loot cave, is a really good catalyst for him.
Yeah.
Right there as well. So just keep that in mind if you're kind of looking for content to do.
Yeah, I went into that and with the Forerunner trying to get it done, and I feel like I did it for like a half hour, and it was only at 40%. I was like, I'm done. I'm moving on. I don't use that sidearm enough to make me want to keep grinding that out. You can have a
Right.
while till Witch Queen happens. And then we got into a couple raids this week. We did Last Wish and Vault of Glass, and then with your charity stream, that's the 2 raids you did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to be the a lot of people that don't raid need the pinnacle drops from Vault, and I think Last Wish is the coolest raid, so that's the one I do. Like if people don't really need pinnacles, it's just the most expansive, the most encounters. It takes more than 25 minutes to complete, and you can get 1,000 voices, which is an incredible exotic, probably one of the best exotics in the game, even when it's not like the the artifact season like it is this time. It's still a fantastic gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily one of the most fun guns. I mean, it's just a charge, point, draw a line, and everything blows up, and it's a lot of fun. It's just always been a lot of fun. But yeah, that's Last Wish is always Ryan's go-to, and I'm always there for it because Last Wish is great. It's also really fun to run with first timers. I think in the last 2 weeks we've done it at least 4 times with people that have never done it before.
Yeah,
I know
I've
I've
kind
run
of
it with the homies that we went into Dares. We ran it with one with each of them, and then we did one on the charity stream, and then one yesterday. So we've done a Sherpa run 4 times in the last 2 weeks,
yeah,
and
I've kind of been doing it on purpose, like
I
finding
know,
somebody that's never done
but
it.
it's great because it's the most technically complicated raid. So if someone gets into it and goes, yeah, that was fun, it's like, oh, okay, well, let's take you to these other ones. It's like the gateway one. It's like you can do the hardest one. These other ones are gonna be no problem. Like let's do that. And they go, what? Really? It's like, yeah, dude, that was the hardest one. Let's go do the other stuff real quick. It's like, okay. But
It's like contact
obviously,
high, right? Whenever you like
yeah,
do something with
exactly.
somebody, yeah.
Yeah, and then that chest room too. You can't beat it when it's just a bunch of chests
Oh,
on
I
those
know.
stairs. It's like it's
I get
getting
all
one
of them.
chest is great, but like being like I get all of them, like oh my god.
Speaking of getting all the chests,
Oh my god.
Yep.
we opened them all up, and
Yeah.
it whenever you open them all up, it was a lot more
It,
cool. Like 2.5 years ago, it gives you a picture of one of the wishes.
yeah. It removes a
So
blight, and then you see the wish, which I thought it was
wish
a
was that? Do
triumph.
you know?
I remember what it was, the picture. But I can't remember which wish it was. I don't think it was.
Okay,
It wasn't any of the bosses, that's for sure, because those are the ones I know off the top. It might have been like eggs or
right.
or something. It might have been. I
Might have
can't
been
remember.
for the
Activating
ship,
drifter
or
voice.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll have. I can look it up later, but yeah, it
it's
was
all good.
definitely. I
It's
was
not that
hoping there was a
important
triumph
anyway.
there, but it was fun. I've never done it before, so it was cool.
I probably should have screenshot that, huh? That would have been smart.
Nah, it's up here. It's in my memories with my homies.
We know we did it.
Yeah, so we we've also been trying to stream more from this our YouTube channel. So if you ever see us on, pop in and say hello. I have some emblem codes I've been giving away in there, so you might get lucky and get some of those as well.
All right.
No, we
I think that's it for basically what we did in Destiny this week, right?
We did a quick vault, but that's with people that know what's going on, it's like a nice easy 40-minute run.
Yep.
Real fun. Nobody got myth though, unfortunately. But it was fun, yeah. And we ran with a guy that we met on the charity stream too. So that
Yeah,
was a
he's a
this was
pretty
just a
cool
fun time.
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's always
Texas.
fun picking people up
Yeah.
and making them, getting them more comfortable with raids and doing things because he had never done Last Wish, so we're like, you know what, let's do that too.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's just it's you just got to get out there and do it. I have like my homies had never done any raids, and then I started getting them on there, and we ran a homie through Last Wish last week or a couple weeks ago, and that was his first raid in Destiny 2 ever. And he was like, "Yeah, let's do another one, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it."
Mhm. All right. So that's it for that. So next up is going to be weapons breakdown, and we talked about being in grasp of avarice and all that stuff. So we're going to break down those weapons. So basically, you got 3 weapons back from Destiny 1. And then you have a sword called Hero of Ages that came over from what game was that, Fox?
Was that was Pathways, I think, right?
Yeah. I think you're right. Pathways. So hand cannons, probably most people care about in PvP, and then they're also great in PvE. So go ahead and get into the Islina, which is a stasis 140 RPM hand cannon, which can roll headstone, which is something that I really want to get for many reasons. One is to do with the Stasis Titan Behemoth, and what it's doing with. Well, I just forget that aspect, Chad.
The spear one, right? The javelin
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
I can't remember what it's called either.
Oh my
It's
god,
just
man!
like perma locked on my behemoth.
I've been using it all week. Um, so you get a stasis javelin basically, and you know every like 3 PVE kills you get one, and then also like whenever you freeze an enemy and kill an enemy with the stasis crystal you're creating with headstone, you're getting it then. So PVE, I'm wanting True Sight, High Caliber, Outlaw, Headstone, or Demolitionist. Demolitionist is just for like in general getting your grenade back. You think that Verity Browse build with Stasis Warlock, so you're doubling down on you getting grenade energy back for those Stasis turrets. But also, if you just use Headstone, and you can use the fragment of whenever you shatter a crystal, you get increased grenade charge rate. So either way, you're helping yourself throw more grenades and make Shax happy. Now, for PvP, has a lot of options, and you probably at the point where this gun probably don't have a true god wall. You're gonna have a personal god wall. But the first 3 columns is pretty straightforward. It's fast draw, high caliber rounds, and rangefinder. Now the last column is whenever there's probably debate of what you think is best for you. So there's kill clip, headstone, and moving target. So why headstone in PvP? If you're playing 3s and you get a headshot of somebody, their ghost is now encapsulated in that headstone. So they would have to break the glacier in order to go in for the res, which takes their line of sight off. Or if you're coming around a corner, or if you're jumping around a corner, they're trying to get to the res, you're shooting a crystal, get an extra shattered damage off. And then kill clip has always been amazing in 6s to chain kills together, but unfortunately on 140s it doesn't make it a 2-tap. You still got a 1 head 2 body. And then moving target, increased strafe speed and plus 10 to aim assist. So all around that's amazing too. So if I got any of this, any 3 of those with the first 3 perks I mentioned, I would be very happy, but still haven't. I think I only got 1 with headstone out of like probably the 20 I've gotten the drop now. It's really like driving me up a wall how Bungie is withholding the god rolls from me in this dungeon.
Listen, my my favorite Jared has came out over like the last 4 days, and that's like Bungie conspiracy, Jared.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I'm as Mr. Conspiracy Guy. Jared's losing the shill is just kind of shining right off of him. The longer this dungeon goes. So what is the best role that you have currently, Jared?
So best for PvE is the only one I gotten for Headstone because it's just I need it for stasis builds, and that's like fast draw, ricochet, heating up Headstone. I mean, heating up's nice,
Right.
but it's not what I care for.
Right.
And
I like heating up more on like automatic weapons.
And then I got a couple of rangefinder kill clips, but all of the first 2 columns is trash, and the masterwork's trash, so they don't feel good.
So I've only got 2 total of these to drop. I do have an outlaw kill clip roll, which I've been using quite a bit in PvE. And then I also have a heating up demo roll. So, they're not the god rolls, but they're not bad rolls by any stretch. So I'm not like hell bent on trying to get like the god roll of that gun because I wasn't attached to it like a lot of people were in D1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very satisfied with what I have of it. Chad, do you have any at all yet?
Yeah, I got one. It's Outlaw Demo. I masterworked it immediately. I don't really care what else is on it. And I'm like, all right, let's hope something else happens. And then nothing. Nothing. I'm looking for Headstone also because it's a good gun to mess around with. Behemoth is a PvE monster at the moment, and with a Headstone gun, you're just making javelins, and you don't even need to pick them up. Your homies can grab it and just chuck it, freeze some stuff, and then you're blowing it up. It creates a little bit more ad clear for your allies, as well as a ad suppression with the freezing. So it's super helpful. But like I am the worst when it comes to God rolls here, as we all know. So I haven't done the grind yet, and I'm super excited to get to Jared's number times 5 and be thoroughly unimpressed with the rolls that I got.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably get Outlaw Demo like at least 9 or 10 times before I see Headstone once. Which will be nice. I'll have a bunch of different rolls of it. But yeah, like I said, I've only seen one. It was Outlaw Demo, and it was just an immediate masterwork because I don't think I'm gonna get a better one.
Yeah, the way Bungie's made to where you need to run the same flavor of weapons to your subclass type, it's so important to get these right now. I mean, I expect them to give us more stasis weapons in Witch Queen, but I mean, recently we just got a hand cannon and a sword, so I was doing Ias Luna, Winch Rival, and then the stasis sword, and just like so 2 of my 3 was stasis, and then particle deconstruction on the linear was a pretty sick PvE go. All right, the next weapon here is 1,000-yard stare, void adaptive frame sniper, also back from Destiny 1. So PvP is pretty simple here. It's going to be fluted, accurized, quick draw snapshot for the god roll. Instead of quick draw, you could do perpetual motion. I think I do have a perpetual motion snapshot roll. It does feel good. I want to compare it back to the quick draw because that's what Beloved was back in its heyday. And then this sniper also has a 44 zoom level, which is really great field of view wise. And then PvE, you're looking to shoot off as many rounds as possible. So you got arrowhead break and then appended mag, so you can compare it with backup mag that gets you the 6 without negatively impacting your reload speed. And then column 3 is going to be triple tap. And then column 4, you do have some options here. You can go Demolishness, you can go Golden Tricorn, or just stick the Snapshot, because Snapshot is always good on the sniper to be able to quickly zoom in.
Yeah, I've only got 3 of these to drop, and they are like quick draw, dragonfly, triple tap moving target, and perpetual motion moving target. So I have like nothing. I don't even think I've fired the gun because I haven't had one worthy of firing yet.
I've gotten one of these too, and
Okay.
it's sitting on my hunter as infusion fuel for somebody because it's just nothing.
Hmm.
Um, but like I said, I'm not a great, not a great example because I haven't grinded like Jared has. Um, I've
Yeah.
gotten like 7 Matadors, which we're going to talk about next. But
Yeah.
I liked Thousand Yard Stare in D1. It was fun. I liked it, and the zoom on it, like Jared said, is nice. It's a good. It's a 44 zoom, right? You said,
Yep.
yeah. And so for me, I'd go with Tricorn personally. I mean, I love demo, but you're looking, demo would only be good so that you can get a quick reload for boss damage. You're not
Hmm.
killing things with it to get grenade energy back. You would just once all 6 shots are done, even with triple tap, you just throw a quick grenade and you get all 6 shots back, and then you can just keep on laying into the boss with it. But Golden Tricorn feels good too. But yeah, that demo would be real quick boss damage on something with that immediate reload.
Hmm. But unfortunately, that's the energy slot for snipers is pretty competitive with that Kilo sniper with the
Yeah.
Zume R4, and then you have Cloud Strike. It's pretty tough to compete in that column. But if you want around for those weapons, I mean, this is a great one to go chase. All right, Fox. I would say that your perpetual motion moving target. Actually, I don't know what barrel you got, but if you throw on maybe a dexterity mod and then sniper targeting, it's probably going to feel just as good as having snapshot.
I got a corkscrew or hammer forged, and then I either got tack mag or alloy mag, but it does have a handling masterwork.
Yeah, so
Oh.
like you're like 75% there. There's maybe with the Ophidians and some targeting mod on your helmet, it's going to feel super snappy.
Yep.
All right, as Chad said, Matador's next, and why don't you take us through it?
Oh boy, I loved Matador. Like I spent so many mats re-rolling that thing in D1 to get the perfect sniper, and I did it, and I was a terror because I oh my gosh, it was fun. But anyway, we're going because it was void in D1, right? Also, because I feel like I
Yes.
remember running Universal Remote Matador on my Titan with the gauntlets that make you have an overshield when you're or the boots when you're odd. Oh man. Anyway, it's a void precision frame pellet, and they are so the PVE roll we're looking for is going to be small bore with assault mag, and then threat detector 1-2 punch. Just a good solid just blow something up and then lay into them with a punch real quick. Good for hunters. Good for titans if you're quick on the switch. But it's definitely a fun one to get. 1-2 punch is always good. And then PvP, we're going full choke, assault mag, perpetual motion, and opening shot. Opening shot's going to be always helpful on a shotgun, but that perpetual motion is actually going to be really fun too.
Oh
And
yeah,
I haven't gotten one. I don't think I've even gotten one with perpetual motion at all, so I wasn't aware that it even came on there.
yeah. I got one away from a Godwell here. I got one with full choke, accurized, which is almost just as good as assault mag, just its personal preference in the second column, and then perpetual motion, and then the last column was the golden tricorn instead of opening shot. And I even got the range masterwork, but unfortunately, just one away.
Yeah, I have. I've got one of these to drop, unfortunately, and the role that I have is um, threat detector harmony. So
It could be
yeah,
worse. I mean,
Yep.
harmony is nice though if you pairing that with
it's fine.
yeah,
It's fine. But I mean, there's so many other good shotguns. It's
yeah. You're
really hard to
competing
like, especially the void. There's a lot of void shotguns, even man. You got like deicide is one.
the comedian.
There's a couple. We just did this a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah,
several shotties.
yeah. Basically, the only thing that's going to break it out is the other ones don't have harmony, and that has golden tricorn. So that's kind of the only thing there.
Yeah, you got comedian, and then deicide, retrofuturist as well.
Oh yeah, that's a
So
lightweight. Yep. I think you got a slug shotgun from Europa. That's Ford. I forget. I never used the thing
I guess
because it was.
I don't even have one. But you're right.
Yeah.
There is one there.
So yeah, lots of compete in that column because I mean, Fel Winters lies there. Like if you go into PvP and you're really going to try to sweat it out with a shotgun, I mean, this Fel Winters still has the longest one hit kill range for any shotgun. All right, last up, Hero of Ages, an Arc Vortex frame sword. Spin to win. So now if you're a Warlock main, you have all 3 flavor swords that you can spin to win. Which this one can be on any character. It does have some unique things going on for it. It has Demolitionist and Unrelenting in the 3rd column, and then Chain Reaction in column 4. Other swords haven't had that yet, so a lot of fun stuff you can do with that. Again, your first 2 columns are going to be Jagged Edge and Swordmaster's Guard. You get your charge up faster, and you're doing the most impact possible. Now, your last 2 columns is going to be probably based on what you're doing. Demolitionist with Chain Reaction sounds fun. You might be throw a heal nade down if you're a Warlock. Get that back, and as you're killing stuff, you're getting that. And you're getting your grenade back.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. And then also, if you're just going to go through and just clear stuff out, you got Tireless Blade or Relentless in the 3rd column. You can go with Assassin's Blade. You go one for all. And then again, Chain Reaction. So, again, the Vortex Flame swords are usually the funnest in the game. And they give you a lot of fun stuff to go out there and use this sword for.
Yeah, so the best roll on this, which I just got this whenever we were farming the other night, but I did get Jagged Edge, Swordmasters, Relentless Strikes, and Assassin's Blade. Yeah. So the Relentless and the Assassins works well together because every 3 kills you get more ammo with your light attack, and every kill gives you more damage. So it pairs together pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah, demo. The good thing about demo as well is it scales up. The amount of energy you get back depends on the weapon. So if you're using a primary, or if you're using a secondary, or if you're using a heavy, the amount of energy you get back increases. Basically, just because the amount of ammo you get is limited, and the amount of ammo cost is potentially higher. So demo on a sword would be hilarious. You're going to be getting that healing grenade or whatever it is very quickly. So that's gonna be a lot of fun on my Titan with the gauntlets. So if you run middle tree, grenades cause chain explosions. So you'll just toss a grenade, chain explosion, kill anything that survives, get a grenade back, throw it back down, and just lay waste to all red bars that exist. And then chain reaction too.
Yeah.
Man, I've only seen one. I think I have Tireless Assassins. So I didn't. The other 2 perks weren't good.
Yeah.
They definitely weren't. I didn't get Jagged Edge or Swordmaster.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna be a fun sword until I get one of these other 2 for sure.
Chad, I think we just playing when we talked about it, but like swords need to have some kind of different variety in that masterwork slot, like something else besides impact. There's something to bring a little more variety to how they feel. Like I don't know if like they ever could put lunge range as a masterwork. I don't know because I know it's in there because the new perk Eager's Edge has it, it increases it, but there's something else besides impact to maybe just spice them up a little bit.
What about like the sword block? Something to do with the block to where like maybe I'm kind of surprised there's not a perk that like turns the block into like a reversal bubble. Like if somebody shoots at you while you have that, it bounces back at the person that fires.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of stuff they could do with swords, but
sounds like it could be a cool exotic sword. That's free idea, Bungie, right there.
Right. What was the goofy boots that the Titans had to where anything they slid, it ricocheted back?
Oh my gosh, what was those?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we know that there's a way to code it because it's coded into that exotic.
Yep.
and then as well as the arc super for the hunter. Doesn't it send stuff back if you fire at them while they're spinning their staff?
Yeah,
So it
military arc.
exists. I mean, I'm sure it's not a one-to-one copy and paste situation, but I mean, we know they're capable of doing something similar. But man, that would be a really cool exotic, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Ateus Swords is the boots.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that easily should be an exotic sword, no doubt.
Yep. And don't give it like a stupid amount of damage to you. Make it that it's more of like a like a survivability thing, just
And
so
like-
it's not so overpowered.
And like the masterwork makes you take aggro from like you pull aggro from the other stuff
Yeah.
close by.
That would be like the catalyst or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're holding that at enemies within so many meters direct their fire at you.
Yep. All right, that is it for the weapons
Take that
breakdown.
consulting fee.
What is it?
I said we'll take that consulting fee.
Yeah.
You can hit me up on Cash App, not Ryan Fox. I'll distribute it between us.
All right, it's time for the gambling corner.
We'll let Chad talk about the gambling corner this time.
Because he's so happy about it, right?
Always so happy. I don't even know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about?
You won gambling corner.
Didn't I thought you did too?
No.
It was just me.
I said you would die. You said Jared would die. Jared said I would die
Wow.
first. So gambling corner this I guess it was 2 weeks ago was who do we think will die first in our next Master Grasp of Avarice run, dungeon run. And we did run that, and I streamed it on YouTube, so you can check it out if you want to. And Jared was the first to die, so Chad won the bet. So our updated totals at this time, Jared has 11,000 glimmer, I have 27,000 glimmer, and Chad has 23,850 glimmer. So Chad has closed the gap. Jared's still a distant third, and we'll see what's going on. I think we need to come up with a cash in that is like a 10,000 glimmer cash in. Remember previously we had that gambit punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something that we can do for 10,000, and then I'll do it. Just make it interesting. At one point I was up to almost 100,000, so I've been placing a lot of high bets here this past bit. So if anybody has any ideas for a good punishment that would be like 10,000 glimmer worth, send them our way and we would be happy to do it. I did not talk to Mr. Vegas about it this week, with it being a holiday week. I know some of us are going to our hometowns and things to visit with family and Christmas festivities. So we will pick back up next week. If you have any recommendations or what you would like to see for the gambling corner, send those to us as well.
All right. Next up is Lore and Chad. Book of Sorrows finale. Are we finally there?
Finale, we're finally at the end of it, baby. I don't know if people are excited or just happy it's finally going to be over, but it's Hive God history that we need to know going into what we're going into. Let's see. So we're starting again at verse 5:3. And it starts with a note in the book by Zivu Arath. It starts, Harmony. When the traveler passed across Harmony, it lied to the orbits of its 10 worlds. Now they orbit the black hole. The traveler lied to the accretion disk so that it would give warm light to these worlds. The gift mast. When the traveler left Harmony, it made a monument out of the black hole's polar jet. In the jet there is a hollow mass which sings in radiance. This is the gift mast, and we will devour it. We will eat the sky, and out of it we will snap it like a bone. The Harmony sting. The Harmony have weaponized their dead star. They can stimulate the accretion disk to fire relativistic plasma jets. We will take the sting. We will use it to burn their worlds. I will grant one temple of tribute to the first ascendant to kill a world. Oryx. I will have the gift mass to feast on. I will have it first. I am Xivu Arath, and all war is my temple. Beware the daughters of Oryx, for they make and unmake with ease. Sabathun, the deceitful sister, will be distracted by arcana and the song of the black hole. Treat her broods with contempt. The traveler, we chase it, and we will devour it. The deep will rule the cosmos. The dragons. Our gods should be ours alone. Their smug freedom is an insult to me. I'd shut them all in cells. Bring them to me. The gift mast. It towers above this star system like a monument to treason. It beams with silver light. It sings a radio lullaby made of soothing lies. In its light lived the harmony, and they are now our prey. Now arrives Zivorath as the head of the Armada. She fights the Harmony for 50 years with strategies and discipline, but the Harmony turn to dragon wishes, and their wishful bishops wrestle Xivu in the ascendant plane. Xivu falls into a deadlock. Next arrives Savathun, flanked by her chorus and her celebrants. They trick their way into Anna Harmony in disguises, so that they may vivisect their dragons. The worm, our god, laughs and laughs. For 100 years, of all was Oryx, whose brood grew in secret places in the rubble of the accretion disk. The first navigator sends rocks and comets to crush into Harmony worlds so that the Harmony fleet will be disarrayed. He sends seeders to infiltrate the Harmony worlds with his broods. Here at the center of the fifth book, the hive has grown so mighty that it has made annihilation of all false life routine. Zivurath kills the wishful bishops, and Savathun achieves some secret purpose, and Oryx's court tears down the gift mast. The Harmony people wail in terror, and they throw themselves into the silver lakes of Anna Harmony to drown. Come, saith Oryx, eat the gift mass, for I am a generous god. Of its pieces I claim only 2 out of every 5. The mast is full of the light of the traveler. It is full of the marrow taste of the sky. All who eat of it are filled with ecstatic certainty that they serve a great and necessary purpose. Then saith Savathun, siblings, listen. We must part ways a while so that we may grow different. She flies her war moons into the black hole. Her throne becomes distant. Saith Zebu Arath, King Oryx, you take up too much space. Your power constrains too many choices. I must go away from you. She flies her war moons away into the night. Her throne is barred shut. Then Oryx was alone. He spent a while in thought, and those thoughts are recorded here. This is our message to the things that we kill. A species which believes that a good existence can be inverted through games and civilization, and through laws of conduct is doomed by that belief. They will die in terror. The lawless and the ruthless will drag them down to die. The universe will erase their monuments. But the one that sets out to understand the one true law and to perform worship of the law will be the decision gain control over their future. They will gain hope of ascendance, and by their ruthlessness they will assist the universe in arriving at its perfect shape. Only by eradicating from ourselves all clemency for the weak can we emulate and become that which endures forever. This is inevitable. The universe offers only one choice, and it is between ruthlessness and extinction. We stand against the fatal lie that a world built on laws of conduct may ever resist the action of the truly free. This is the slavery of the traveler, the crime of creation in which labor is wasted on the construction of false hopes. If you choose to fight us with everything you have, with all your laws and games. We will prove our argument thus. All is well, Ayat. That is, at war is healthy. What is at peace is sick. My son Crota feeds me rich tribute. My lineages are strong. My worm is vast and satiated, and with that security I can spend my time on study and communion with the deep. As I learn more secrets, my power grows. As my power grows, I use it to learn more secrets. Ayat. Let it be thus, because it must. I wonder if my sisters have secrets of their own. If my power exceeds theirs, I may kill them permanently and subsume their thrones. But I think they have strength that they hide from me, developed in time of separation. The only meaningful relationship is the attempt to destroy. Savathun asks if I am as much a slave to the deep as my taken. She asks what price I pay for my power. I am not taken. The hive is not the deep. The deep doesn't want everything to be the same. It wants life, strong life. Life that lives free without the need for a habitat of games to insulate it from reality. When I make my taken, I make them close to perfect. I heal their wounds and enhance their strengths. This is inherently good. The only right is existence, and the only wrong is non existence. I am Oryx, the first navigator, the taken king. Let me be what I am because to be anything else would be fatal. Returning to the fundament, learned what became of the God Wave and the tungsten monoliths, the continents which were all that remained of my people's primal home. But I know that became all that. It became me. I am the heir of Fundament, the immortal descendant of those 10-year krill. I asked the question, how can we live in the universe long enough to understand it? And I learned the answer, which is written here in this book. I learned that I had to become most ruthless of all. I don't know where the darkness, which is the deep, came from, nor the traveler that I hunt. But I will learn. I will learn. This is my inheritance, my estate, eternity, infinity, the whole universe beneath my sword. This is what I rule forever and a blade. What will happen if I die? It suits me to consider this, for I am great ally of death. My daughters study the quiddity of my death. My son practices the inhibition of death. And my great works is, in Ultima, to become synonymous with death, to die, and then, in that dying, live, so that the universe comes to nothing, then it will be a part of that nothing. For better to have savage universe with a happy end than a happy universe with no hope. I have died many times, but these deaths were only temporary. If my echoes are killed, and I am killed in the material world, then I will be driven back to my throne, the dreadnought. If my court and my throne can be beaten, if I am confronted in my throne, if I am defeated there, I will die. My work will end. This is the pact to which I am bound, in particular to my study of the Tablets of Ruin and by my use of the power of the deep. When I call upon that power, I put myself up as the stakes in a wager. I gamble my soul, for I am saying, listen to my gods. I am the mightiest thing there is, and I prove it thus. Lately I have realized how much I depend on Crota and my daughters, and even upon my court. If I lost them, my outlays would exceed my intakes. My tribute would not be enough to feed my worm. But this is proper, for if I lost them, it would be because they were not mighty enough, and then I would be bad father, a bad king. I must test them and fight with them to keep them strong. This is my Gaius. I will go on forever. I will understand everything. There's only one path, and that is the path that you make. But you can make more than one path. Break your cell's bars. Make a new shape. Make the shape from its path. Find your cell's bars. Break out of the bars. Find a shape. Make the shape from its path. Eat the light. Eat the path. If I fail, let me be worm food. So we know at the end of this that we do exactly what he says. We go to him in his throne and we murder the bejesus out of his whole family.
Yeah, we
Minus
do.
his son, because we already killed his son.
I
But
teabagged him for everybody.
yeah, he did. Unlike Savathun, he actually says, "If I fail, let me be worm food," while she says, "Save me from my worm." So it's going to be interesting. She flew into a black hole, so who knows what she learned in there. Um, but that's definitely the end of that. There's if I can find any more Savathun things, which I don't think there are, I'll read about them. Let you guys know. But I really hope they bring back the Oryx raid. I really do, because it was such a good one, and it'll be a fun one, especially after reading all this again. It'll be definitely a fun one. There's a lot more intricacies in it and fun things to do.
What was your favorite encounter in the King's Fall raid?
Oh man, um,
There's
I
only one
think
right answer to this.
no, there's not. My answer is War Priest.
No, that's the wrong answer. Definitely Morgoth.
I wanted to say Morgoth, but it was very linear. Like you do this, you shoot that, and then you drop in a thing and shoot the guy. War Priest, at least you had to go into a specific spot, call out things, shoot things in a specific order, and then you can go into one spot and then shoot a thing.
I mean, that's like
Oh, God, we're
95% of
such
all
dorks.
Destiny raids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're such dorks. At least we have the self-awareness to realize it, I suppose.
Yeah, you talk about the mechanics, and then you go stand in one spot and shoot a thing. That's just how it goes.
Yep.
All
right. I think we are ready. Are we ready for my segment? The history of Bungie?
Oh, boy.
Yep. Looks like you got going on everything up until Halo.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan. I thought the whole thing would take 3 segments, and we haven't even made it to the development of Halo 1.
That's how I felt about the Books of Sara.
So I apologize for that, everybody. I really didn't mean to kind of get caught in the weeds, but there's a lot of good stuff here. I think you guys will enjoy this. As you noticed, each week I've kind of tried to bring one thing that's in Destiny that came from a previous Bungie title, and I'm sure you'll pick up on this one real quick. So, November 1997, Bungie releases their next game, Myth. This is coming off of the Marathon trilogy. This is the first game that they developed and released simultaneously for both Mac and Windows. If you remember, everybody, we talked last week, they were a Mac exclusive developer, but with Marathon, they released it later on PC, which upset a lot of the Macintosh dorks. So I don't really have a lot of sympathy for console wars. And that's essentially what this was. So now they're releasing games everywhere at the same time. So this game, Myth, tells the story of the battle between the forces of the light and those of the dark for control of an unnamed mythical land. The dark are led by Baylor and groups of lieutenants, aka the Fallen Lords, whilst the light are led by, quote, the Nine, powerful sorcerers known as Avatar, chief amongst who is Ulrich. So the game takes place 17 years 17 years after the war started, 50 years since Balor kind of came to power, and the light is about to lose everything. The entire land is under the dominion of the dark. There's only one major city that's left for the light, and there are also a few small towns that also remain in control of the light. The plot follows the Legion, an elite unit of the Army of the Light, as they attempt to turn back the tide. This game was a critical success as well as a commercial success. Metacritic, which we could do an entire episode on Metacritic of this game, was a 91. So pretty good. If you recall, the Marathon games, none of them, they all sold close to 200,000, but none of them broke 200,000. This game sold 350,000 units, made 7 times its budget. The major complaints in the reviews was the difficulty of the single-player campaign. This game put the company on the map of Microsoft, who was internally at the time in the early stages of beginning to bolster their games division. Specifically, they were trying. So Sony came out with the PlayStation, and they were kind of taking over the living room, which Microsoft was being worried about. If they lost the living room to Sony, then they could lose that PC space that they were obviously going after. The success of this game enabled Bungie to change Chicago offices, and they also established a San Jose, California-based branch of the studio known as Bungie West, which was in 1997. Bungie West's first and only game would be Oni, which was an action title for the Macintosh, PC, and PS2. Just quickly, Oni It got a Metacritic score of 69. It was viewed as like a very average game. It was largely based on Ghost in the Shell and Akira, which Chad informs me is like a steampunk anime type setting. It looked pretty cool based on like honestly, like the 45 seconds of YouTube footage that I saw of the game. I remember when the game was out, I remember seeing it like on the shelves at Walmart and Kmart and electronics boutique. But I never personally played the game. Did either of you ever play it?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. The main thing, I just want you to know Bungie West existed. They are going to be very integral in the future of Bungie. They probably are the reason Bungie is today. Not for Oni, but you will learn more on that in probably 2 weeks. So back to Myth, this game we've been talking about. Myth was a real-time strategy game. The reason it was different than other real-time strategy games at the time, which would have been like Warcraft, Warcraft 2, and Command and Conquer, is that this game, you didn't have base building, you didn't have resource management. All you did was control your troops on the ground. You were just controlling troops. So because it was so simple, that's kind of how it caught on and became popular. Now, 1998, Myth 2 is released. The Chimera expansion comes out 1 year later in 1999. Game was a critical success. Reviewers felt that it improved on virtually every aspect of the first game. Better graphics, more detailed graphics, enhanced sound effects, more varied gameplay, better AI, more intricate and varied level design, more user-friendly interface and control scheme. They also improved the online multiplayer mode, which you got to think, 98. I think my family got their first computer in 97, 98. I remember being in 4th grade when we got it. We had dial-up internet in rural eastern Kentucky. So obviously people that would have been, I was like 9 or 10 years old around the time. So, online is kind of a thing that's happening, kind of in small percentages around. They're also map making tools, single player campaigns were a big thing people could make. The game sold very well, considerably outsold the original. Here is kind of the crazy thing about this game, the reason it's so important in the history of Bungie. So the game had gone gold. So what that means in video game design land is the game is completed, and that's the version that's going to go on the disc to retailers. The game had gone gold. The Japanese testing group found a bug in the game to where if you tried to uninstall the game after you had root installed it, excuse me, guys, I apologize. If you try to uninstall it, it actually clears the entire hard drive. So pretty big bug, taking everybody's data away. So they reach out to Bungie. Jason Jones is able to replicate it. And at this point, they had 2 choices. Either they issue like a day 1 patch, which keep in mind, this is 1998, or they recall the games that have been printed but had not been released yet. And that is the decision that was made. So here's a quote from Jason Jones. The thing that made the decision easy was that if we were to ship the game anyway and try to fix the problem later, some people were going to get screwed. And that was wrong. It might not have been very many people, maybe 1 or 2, but it would have bothered us the rest of our lives. Maybe not, maybe just 2 years. We'd be sitting around today, damn, wonder when the next person's going to call. It was so clear that there was one decision that led down the road of eternal damnation. The other was to spend a lot of money and do the right thing and never make the same mistake again. Bungie recalled every shipped unit of the game, a decision which cost them $800,000 in expenses and fines from retailers for missing their release deadline. They called the Bungie factory in Atlanta and told the production managers to immediately stop printing copies of the game, hold any shipments that hadn't already gone out, and they started calling the stores that were awaiting shipments, telling them to refuse any orders that arrived. And the units that were in transit began to arrive back in the factory, and each individual one had to be repackaged by hand. You opened up the carton, then the box for each individual unit, take out the jewel case, unwrap the shrink wrap, take out the old CD and destroy it, put in the new CD, re-shrink wrap the jewel case, repack it in the box, put on a new UPC label that would be electronically read as version 1.1, put a red sticker on the box saying that this is the updated version of 1.1. The game went on to receive a Metacritic score of 88. So, what did you guys think about the 9 and all that? It's pretty cool. Light, dark, a last city, the 9. Pretty cool, right?
Are you telling me that Destiny's built on this old spaghetti code back from 1998?
It feels like it. Whenever we get to Destiny, there's a lot of stuff about the code. Actually, it starts in Halo 2 is where the code issue starts. But we'll get into that later. But I think it's cool that every game you can see something that they've taken out of every game and put that into Halo and or Destiny.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of using their own history, and it's really cool, especially with this 30th anniversary stuff coming out with the weapons and things as well. I have really enjoyed this little side project, and we're about to get to the best part of it. But if you watch like a lot of the documentaries and things, they talk about this recall that they do as one of like the seminal moments of Bungie. Like which way were they going to go? Were they going to go the cheap route or the right route? And the fact they took the right route makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
hell hath no fury like a gamer scorned. You know, that's what they all say.
Mm-hmm. What's the dude from Nintendo said? If you ship a bad game, it's always going to be bad. But if you
that was Miyamoto.
Okay.
A delayed game. What is it? I'm about to look it up. I don't want to get it wrong. It's like the most. I said it like 2 weeks ago. It's like the most famous gaming quote of Miyamoto delayed game. He said, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad."
Yep.
I think there is a whole lot of truth in that from Mr. Mario, Mr. Miyamoto, Mr. Link, like Zelda. I mean, he is literally like royalty in the video game world. So, and it's crazy that quote so many years ago, which I'm sure this is wrong. I want to say it was like Mario Brothers 3 that they had to push back, and that's kind of where that quote originated. Because Mario Brothers 2 was actually that Doki Doki, like it was another Japanese game that they just skinned Mario over top of, was Mario 2. It wasn't even like a Mario game. So because the first one did so well over here. But I think it was Mario Brothers 3 they had to push back a little, and that's where that quote originated from. But you think about these recent games like Cyberpunk, some of these games that have ship broken. No Man's Sky is another one that immediately comes to mind. A game that comes out with not very many features, and over time they get added. But if they just would have pushed the game a year, it would have ended up being much better. Whenever Bungie pushed back Witch Queen, like 6 months or whatever, we were all like, okay, that's fine, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. All right, I guess that's going to bring us to the mailbag, which is always on time at the end of the episode. All right. Question 1. I've recently bought the pack with all the expansions and I feel lost. What should I do? That's from Amateur Game Review. So I'm assuming that he bought Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light bundle. That was, I think you save some money when you buy all 3 at the same time.
What is that, like the Legendary Edition or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, first thing I would do, I'll just play the Forsaken campaign because that is going away on February 22nd. I think you two would probably agree with that part to get through that part of the game.
Yeah, just for the sake of it's going away.
Mhm.
Not that it's like incredible. Not that it's like the most incredible part of what you bought. It's just the part that's going away. So it's kind of like a FOMO situation.
Yep. It's definitely the same thing. As first thing I would do is play the Forsaken campaign. It'll give you lots of different weapons. You'll be running through a couple of different stories, so you'll be getting lots of engrams and raking up and getting some guns that you can try out and kind of get a feel for. Um, and it's the most linear storyline. I think like when you go into like the quests for other stuff, it's a little harder to figure out. But this one's definitely an easier one to follow. And it takes you to a couple of different places. So it gets you into the world and fighting some of the different enemies and stuff. So that's definitely a good first start. Um, then if you don't have enough variety of weapons, I'd say run some regular strikes, the strike playlist, or just adventure out on a planet. Just go on a planet and just roam around and just kind of play with guns, practice supers. Uh, when the sky goes dark, look for guardians congregating in a specific spot, um, and just kind of meander about. The game doesn't have very good direction or doesn't teach you very many things. But the first things you need to do, obviously, because it's a FPS, is get used to the guns and get a feel for the guns because that'll get you very far if you know what the guns are and the differences. Um,
So we said start with Forsaken. So after you complete the Forsaken campaign, would you just want to get through the campaigns to understand what's going on in the world, or you're saying just go get loot and then go back and do the stories?
I mean, I'm do the campaigns and then play a little bit just to get more of a feel for the game because the campaign isn't very long and you're going to be focused on story. Um, but I'm trying to because you'd have to go to Europa's the next thing, right?
The moon.
For or no, that's right,
You
Shadowkeep.
got a whole a
We
shadow
got the
keep,
moon.
man.
Yeah. Oh man, but that story's got some girth to it.
Yeah,
That's not a short one.
yeah, yeah. Then weapons wise, I mean, if you're playing this new 6-man activity, that is Days of Eternity, you're getting complete lineup there with weapons that are quite good. You know, you have a shotgun, a grenade launcher, a connect slot. You got a pulse rifle, and then for heavy, you have swords. So I mean, that's pretty solid lineup right there. If you just, which is free, play through that a few times.
Listen, the my main advice when this is anybody that has taken a big break from Destiny, I'm talking years break, or they first start coming on, the only thing that they seem to focus on is their power level at the time, which I can understand because that's the one thing you can see you can actually see it progress up as you go. Power level comes very easy in Destiny. You don't need to be worried about power level. Just because a gun drops higher power level than the one you have doesn't mean it's better than the gun you have. Blues, anything that's not a purple or a gold, like a legendary or an exotic drop, keep it if it's your highest thing, but don't worry about it because eventually you'll get to the point to where you never used any of that. And make sure every weapon you get, you check the rolls on it to see if it's any good. There's multiple websites that can help with that. The main thing, if you can get like a damage boosting perk and a reload perk, that's a pretty good thing to just hold on to. You do have a vault that shares between multiple characters. You can, if you're not sure, throw it in the vault. And the more you play, the more you'll find out what you like, and you'll to go through and pare that down as it goes. So don't fear about power level. Um, honestly, the stories they're fine, but they're not. It's you're not playing Final Fantasy. Like let's be really clear. Like, I mean, this isn't a story RPG. It's a shooter. There's a story with it. The story's cool. The cool parts of the story are in the lore books. That's why we have a lore section with our Chronicler Chad over here that fills us in on all the stuff. You know, Jared and I have played this game over 2,000 hours, and I'm sure that we don't know a quarter of what's actually going on in the game with the story. So, um, the end game is the reason to play this game. Once you get to the end game, which doesn't take near as long as you think it's going to take when you first start out, you can really start getting some cool stuff. Hit us up. We would love to have you in our clan. The more people we have to play with, the better. Don't be afraid to ask for help because by doing that, you're just kind of screwing yourself out of missing all the fun stuff.
Don't jump directly into PvP either. It's so dependent on the meta and weapon mods. So that's another thing that like this game doesn't do a good job of explaining is the mod system and the way you get mod components, which is what you use to buy mods. You have to do bounties for the gunsmith. So always try to do bounties for the gunsmith every day because you need lots and lots of mod components to catch up, which is something that I actually really dislike about this game is that everyone should automatically have all weapon mods. They don't need to go buy them. They don't need to be like for sold by Banshee, like hand cannon target, unflinching hand cannon mod, all that stuff just to be just like on characters. Because if you don't have that stuff on in PvP, you're toast.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't disagree with that. Or at least make it to where you can buy it very easily. Like all of them are on sale every day, so you can like go to what you want to buy. But for sure, yeah, just armor as a really good rule of thumb when you're first starting out. Any legendary or armor you get that's has a stat base of 60 or higher overall, just hold on to it. It's not all going to be good, but that's a good cutoff point. If it's in the 50s, I think it's safe to say I wouldn't worry too much about holding on to it. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So if it's 60 or higher on your armor and it is a legendary, just hold on to it. And any weapon that has like a reload perk and a damage perk, pretty good, pretty good to hold on to. And honestly, just play. If it feels good to you, it doesn't matter what the perks are. Doesn't matter. Um, we talk a lot about god rolls. The difference between a god roll weapon and like an average roll of the weapon is what 10% maybe at best for 99% of the game.
Yeah. It doesn't matter when you're going through
Yeah.
strikes.
No, the only time it matters is like day one raids, which is what we like to do. So it's important to us, but that might not be important to you. So don't stress like, oh, it's not the god roll, I need to delete it. Like absolutely don't have that mindset. If so, Chad claims he wouldn't have a single weapon left. So
True.
All right. Question 2. You get to make one change to one activity. What is it? Fox, you going with Gambit? Are you changing something with that?
yeah, I'm just trying to think of what I would change specifically because the change I would have to make would have to be something that improved the population of Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can think of that would be that change would be you can choose. You have to choose like what, excuse me, which role you're going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only like maybe 16, like 10 to 16 loadouts that you choose from.
Yeah.
So like you can't take anything in there. Like maybe Invader has 4 different loadouts. Um, Sentinel has 4 different loadouts.
Yeah.
Like each role has 4 different loadouts, and you have to queue as a role, and you have to queue into which loadout that you take. Or every death, you can choose which of the 4 loadouts based upon. I think that would be my change to Gambit to make it more populated, more even. it would fix a lot of the broke stuff that's in there, and maybe if you do that, more people will play it.
That's a good one.
My only one would be to get rid of singes and bring burns back.
Okay.
Because I don't singes don't do enough. But the burns, you feel the burns in D1. You feel that. I think what was it, like a 20%
I can't remember.
boost or
It was a
50%? It was something
significant,
wild. It was significant where it's like
like
you're gonna die.
solar burn with Gowerhorn was
Oh yeah.
dirty.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But then the enemies hit too, which was the issue. So you
What
you
about
you know you gotta
what about like small arms and like those
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
modifiers?
yeah bring that back. That was
Yeah.
great.
I would make the Grasp of Avarice chest have like choosable rewards. Like you get 2
Mm,
drops every time you complete it right. You can pick the 2 because
you're talking
everything.
about like the end of the season of the worthy
Yeah, exactly that.
with yeah.
All right. Question 3: which raid and which dungeon is the most difficult for somebody that has never done any?
I think I
Okay,
answered
okay.
the raid one earlier for D2. Last Wish is the most technical. Um, Now it's not the hardest once you do it, but Ryan's shaking his head. It's like, well, that's because we don't let anybody do crystals, do puzzle, or do call outs for the vault room. And we also don't run, we're just running through, so we don't do Riven. So it's legit the hardest. But it's easily because of that, it's one of the most fun. No questions asked. The rest of them, all the encounters kind of teach into each other and kind of have a flow. But Last Wish, each encounter is its own thing, and it's great. It makes it awesome because it's like they all have different Dreaming City things that don't happen in the other encounters. But all the other raids kind of just have mechanics that flow through, which is nice, and it's very good for teaching. But that's why Last Wish is so hard. As far as dungeon, again, I think Shattered is the hardest dungeon. It's also, I think, the longest
Yeah,
by
yeah.
far.
It has to be
Um,
the longest.
it's the longest. It has what, one, two, three. It has three encounters, but like the pathways in between two of the encounters is super long.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, those are my two like hardest for each of those.
But I feel like the mechanic for Shadow Throne is it's quite simple though. Kill something, go grab
Yeah,
the orb, and then you can go slam. Which guess what? That's like for everything else in dungeons too.
That or
So
yeah.
that or a plate.
yeah.
That's what we get.
Hardest dungeon, I think I don't know, it got so easy now, but Deep Stone Crypt was fairly difficult before we got the DPS numbers that so easily obtainable now with 8 tracks and stuff. But I think Photo Glass is very easy because you're always paired with somebody. It felt like so you can always lean on somebody. So and then it's gonna be Garden because Garden you actually have to depend on people to do the right job.
Mm,
Like building plates.
Yeah.
Like if somebody screws up building plates, he keeps turning on the telebox, and
yeah, it's a wipe.
yeah,
Yeah. So Garden, in my opinion, is the most difficult raid. It's also the raid that we've done the least to be the most fair. The last couple times we've done it, we've kind of not had a whole lot of trouble with it, but we've also kind of taken some of our veterans in there with us as well, which has helped. Uh, the so dungeons we have Shattered, and then we have the Pit of Heresy, Prophecy, and then the new one, right?
mm-hmm.
So the new one is definitely not the most difficult. Uh, Prophecy was difficult day one, but it's pretty easy now. I would say Shattered is probably, I do agree with Chad, is probably the most difficult. But I feel like there are. I had more trouble staying alive in the pit of heresy than I did in Shattered Throne. Mainly because that part where you gotta this is so lame. The part where you have to go activate like the 3 things and then drop down. You have to drop down the hole that has like the traps, and then you have to go activate the 3 symbols by killing the wizards right before the final boss. Right before the final boss.
Yeah.
I always struggled with like I could never get that completely laid out in my brain, like where each one was.
Yeah, I would say that one is
Oh.
very difficult too, because even the ogres, when you got kill like
Yeah.
and get through that part, so I say yeah, you're probably right.
And then the part where you have to like hold the totem, but also go get the thing to slam, and now there's no longer the hive mods to where you can get your heavy back, and you can't dupe the balls anymore like you guys used to. So I would say that one is at least as difficult as it has to be, at least on the same tier as Shattered Throne, if not higher, in my opinion. And then Garden is by far the most difficult to teach as somebody that's sharpened many raids over the last few years. That one and the last the last mini raid. What was it called?
Oh, Spire?
The one,
No.
yeah, Spire of Stars.
Oh, I thought it was the other one you hated the most.
Eater?
No, Spire was the hardest to teach.
Uh-huh.
And then Garden is right up there with it, in my opinion.
I thought it was the one that dropped with Menagerie is one you hated the most.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't really care for that one as well.
Crown of Sorrow,
I
baby.
don't think I'm a hive guy. To be honest.
Yeah. Well,
Because they kill you too much, Ryan.
you're gonna get a big dose of it coming February, so
Yeah.
prepare.
I'll be ready.
All right, question 4. Why do people get so upset over people's preferred input? So that's going to be mouse and keyboard versus controller. What came to mind when I read this question is like, I remember back in the day, in high school playing Call of Duty and Halo 3 and all that stuff, and you could just complain about lag, the reason you died. So it just migrates over to this nowadays. It's complaining about the other input is the reason you died.
Yeah, you're just winning because of aim assist, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you controller dorks.
Yeah, so I mean that's what comes to mind whenever I thought of it.
Yeah, that's my first thought too. Is just hating on the person on the other side. That's all. That's it.
I think everybody's envy of the other side. Like I look at Last Word, I'm like, I wish I could use Last Word and it'd be fun on mouse and keyboard.
Oh man,
but I can't.
Yeah.
But also controller people looks at mouse and keyboard people and like, well, Dead Man's Tale don't work that great for us. So I mean, you just have things that benefit either side of the way. Both have pros and cons. So we just gotta learn to live with them. It's okay that some things are better on a controller. It's okay that some things are better on mouse and keyboard. And we all should be playing together because we're on the same bell curve. We have great players on both inputs, and we have terrible players on both input. And then you have people like us that's somewhere in the middle, no matter what. So,
no matter which input, give me a year on that input, and I'll be in the exact same place on the bell curve, no matter which input. I hate it because people that use controllers they crutch on aim assist, and they have better movement. Like they have joystick movement as opposed to the WSA&D, and they get to use Last Word and Beloved, and they get all their aim assist, and it's just not fair. It's just not fair. No, in actuality, it's exactly what Jared said. It's the easiest thing to complain about as to why it's not your fault. So that's the correct answer.
I do it now. If I get killed by Last Word, I am just peeling the paint off the wall talking about somebody using a controller. So
Yeah, yeah. Chad hates people that use controller too.
It's true.
All right, question 5. What is your favorite Christmas holiday movie?
We'll let Chad go first.
Okay.
He's the most holiday oriented out of all of us.
It's true. I don't have one because I hate the holidays.
Oh.
Um, I have no childhood memories of holidays, so I don't have any memories of movies being special to me. But I really liked The Grinch before he had his heart grow 3 sizes that day. That's where I pause it and then move on to something else.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I guess you didn't cry at the end of Old Yeller, did you? You probably just thought, yep, he deserved to die.
Yeah, he did deserve to die. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the right take.
All right. My movie is going to be Elf. I mean, it's the best. It's um every December I'm watching at least twice, if not more times than that.
How many times have you watched it so far?
Once.
Once? Okay. You still got time.
Yeah.
Put another one in on Christmas.
I don't know. I feel like there are two right answers to this. The first and my personal favorite is Home Alone. Like, I absolutely love that movie. I see Chad perk up and he's going to try to argue that it's not a Christmas movie. And I'm going to say this, first of all. And second of all, I'm going to say it is exactly a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas, Christmas Eve, whenever the burglars try to go in. The parents are in France for Christmas, and he was left home alone. He made his family disappear. The other right answer is probably A Christmas Story. The
Okay.
movie. Have you ever heard of that movie, Chad?
I have. And it has the word Christmas in it, so that's already a more Christmassy movie than what you previously stated.
Yeah. All right. Die Hard. So that would probably be another acceptable answer. Elf is a lot of people like Elf. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people that like it. I think it's fine, but it's not my favorite Will Ferrell. Is the Elf Will Ferrell? So, but Home Alone is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about like how Christmassy movies are, Home Alone's a little closer to Die Hard to how like Christmas is involved in the movie.
Yeah, in that it happens on Christmas Eve
Yeah.
instead of like a holiday party
Yeah.
sometime before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, that's our Christmas takes on movies and our favorites and how they fall in the great debate as is it a Christmas movie or not. So that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think we had any other segments or anything, did we?
No.
All right. Well, I'm not Ryan Fox, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Working on getting an interview set up in the near future, so there might be the first time we have a fourth member of the podcast come on. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, listen on Spotify and iTunes, follow us there, and our numbers are growing. We are swiftly sneaking up on 2,000 unique downloads, which is absolutely wild to me that you guys care enough about what we have to say. Join our Discord. We would love to Sherpa you guys through raids. If that's something you guys are interested in, that's kind of our favorite thing to do. So reach out on Twitter at DestinyCCPod, and I'll let these guys sign off.
Oh yeah, I hope you enjoy this week and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. If you celebrate nothing at all, hope you have a good week and rest up. 2022
Yep, and
is just around the corner.
It's a comment. But yeah, definitely I agree with that sentiment. I hope that you get to do whatever you want to do and relax however you want to relax, regardless of whatever you're celebrating this week.
Go Cats. Love you guys.